Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, on behalf of your Denver-based podcast crew, we appreciate you joining us for the Friendly Vibes.
Coming to you live from TSS Universidad. I'm joined by a very good-looking, funny, smart individual that I don't really know that well, but I'm hoping to get to know better today. Nick Ellis, stand-up comedian, writer. What am I missing here, man? Rooster Mag. Where are the credits? Tell me what I need to be talking about.
I'm trying to bring good vibes to where I'm at. I think that's the most important credit. But yeah, no, I've worked with Barstool Sports, Bro Bible. I work with Rooster Magazine, Postgrad Problem, which is was an arm of Total Frat Move, and now it's Friday Beers.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Here we are.
Just deep into the vibes of life.
Ah, man.
Trying to keep that creative vibe inside of you alive into your mid-20s now, 30s? How old are you?
Mid-20s? Yeah, no, I am 32.
32. Don't look a day over 25. Come on now.
Gosh, you're going to make me watch. How old are you?
I'm 27 now.
Well, you don't look a day over 26.
I look 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days. Yeah. Hey, thank you for having me on, by the way. This is lovely. Happy to be here.
We will note that it's not as hot as it's been. I logged a bunch of episodes in like June and it was like, edging 100 and guests were sweating and we were taking breaks every 50 minutes. We're back into the mid 80s. It's a little more pleasant in this hot garage, but
it's great.
I have seen you kill it on stage. Recently, most being, I believe, on Brant's storytelling show.
Yes, at Comedy Works South. That was fun. That was exciting. That was my first time performing at Comedy Works on a weekend show. And just, again, vibes were high there. It was fun. It was a good crowd. They were down for, they were along for the ride. And so was everyone. So, yeah, you did great as well.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. I am very much enjoying every minute I get to be around people that are further on the journey. Because I'm a fucking spongy-ass, curious dude. So I get to just ask questions and learn from all these really cool people that are in all these different stages along the path.
Well, yeah, that's how you do it, right? I mean, it's a learning journey, right? You never stop learning. So
I'm trying to do the old 70s style. I'll be a door guy for 5 years. Just try to learn and eat shit when I get the chance to, eat shit some more for the next 5 years as I'm doing it more frequently. Yeah. Okay, maybe now 10 years in, I'm halfway decent and, then see where life takes you. Well, and hopefully I've got the mindset you do, which is I'm here for the vibes.
Here for the vibes, man. I mean, yeah, I don't know the purpose of someone showing up to then bring people down and be a bad time. I don't want a negative Nelly. So, yeah, man, it's...
Have you always been such a positive vibe person your whole life? Even as a kid and all that before comedy?
I think so. Yeah, I've tried to be a pretty not uplifting because that makes me sound like a motivational speaker. Just a good time to be around. I don't want to cause a bother. I don't want to cause a fuss. So,
are you from the Midwest then?
Yeah, hell yeah, I am from the Midwest.
Oh, got you there.
Yeah. It's
sneak on by you.
Oop, want me to scooch past you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that probably plays a part of it. But there's also shitty people from the Midwest too.
Oh,
but yeah, I like riding with the Midwest nice.
Yes, I mean, why don't you?
Where are you from?
Both my parents are from Iowa,
okay.
And I grew up here in Colorado. I was born in Santa Cruz, California. I'm trying to work out this joke about it where, my parents are pretty conservative, but I was born in the whitest, most liberal place in, at the time, the whole world. And then they moved to what would become the whitest, most liberal place in the whole world, Boulder, Colorado.
Oh,
so
wow.
Santa Cruz isn't, conservative enough. Let's go to Boulder. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing here? So grew up in the Front Range, grew up loving outdoors, camping, venturing, exploring, big part of my life. So
that's great. Yeah. And you talk about the whiteness of where you grew up and then where you grew up again. And it's your parents being born in Iowa, also white as hell.
Oh, what's funny is that I had to get the punchline-esque of what I'm still working out the joke, but the punchline seems to be, I had to go to Iowa to find culture. You grew up in white places when you go to Cedar Rapids and you're like, man, this is some diversity.
Right. Yeah. You're I see a corn farmer and I see a bean farmer and
there's Monsanto.
Yeah, exactly. Cedar Rapids, that's the middle of the state, right?
It is eastern. It's a little bit eastern middle. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So it's probably eastern third, probably right along that upper third line of Iowa.
Okay. So kind of in between Des Moines and Quad Cities?
Yes. So in between the Des Moines and Quad Cities, you've got Iowa City, and then it's about 30 minutes north of Iowa City.
Oh, okay. I've definitely driven past it then, because I made a stop in Des Moines last year, and then I drove up to Minneapolis.
Nice. Do you go through Dubuque then to get up there, or they go a different way probably?
I don't know. That's not my experience.
I've heard that the Dubuque comedy scene is like low key starting to pop off, which it seems like it's a small river town, you know, nothing major type of vibes, but
right.
That's cool to see that kind of thing happen in the Midwest.
I mean, the fact saying that Dubuque has a comedy scene, that's pretty big.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like those type of, you know, grown grassroots. There's 5 dudes that want to, or, you know, 6 dudes and 3 girls that love comedy and just want to come out every Friday for the show, whatever.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Well, that's like how some of the mountain towns are out here, right? I mean, Aspen, the Aspen Carbondale area, and then like Steamboat. I've been lucky enough to do shows in both those places, and the people that are running those shows out there, Kyle Ruff, Matt Newland, and Steamboat, and then Miller Ford and Beth in Aspen.
Miller Ford, that's a dealership, man. That's not a guy.
Yeah, it's
come on, that guy. That's a dealership for Fords.
It's a beer and a truck. Yeah. Yeah,
it's
good people. Good
it's
things.
like Miller Ford Honda or something.
Right. That's perfect.
Yeah. Well, that's sweet. So those have the same type of Midwestern, small, like grassroots vibes, the good vibes that come from people that just are doing it because they love the thing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the kind of like, hey, there's not really a scene and we're creating it.
That's so cool.
And that's awesome.
So how long has your journey in comedy been? I know you've been writing and involved in this sphere for a while, but how many years do you tell people that you've been a comic?
I tell people 5 to 6. I did my first open mic a decade ago. Senior year of college, I found out that my college town had an open mic comedy night, and so I checked that out, and I did it like sparingly. And then I took like a couple years off in between there, but then I really hit it hard when I moved out here in 2020 after the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how that for those first mics, take me back, because I always kind of dreaded and also, you know, wish I would have jumped in quicker, because I had the same type of thing happen to me where I did a few sparingly in college. Pandemic hit, took time off, took me being like, you know what, I'm really beaten down by just working a job, coming home, being tired, making dinner, going to bed, feeling like I'm a cog of the matrix or whatever you want to say, right? Mm-hmm. I'm losing out on the creative self I had. My soul is actively dying in my heart. I need a job in comedy, so I got another door guy job. Oh shoot, feeling better, feeling healthier, losing weight. Oh man, life is coalescing into all this positive energy and positive momentum.
Hell yeah.
Now I'm getting up on stage. Now I'm asked to do spot. Dang, dude. Like, little tiny like microscopic things that added on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think back, and I think back with regret, like, damn, would that have happened if I just dived in right away? Like if I just started doing it every single week from the start, what would have been different?
Right. Well, who knows? You can't really answer that, but you can say not bad to be where you're at now.
Dude, it's I have an appreciation for the fact that it seems like the art form I'm always going to be able to love, because there is no end. Like some other art forms, they can give you an award, you can get a thing. Like it doesn't matter at all with comedy. The best comics on earth are people like Dave Attell that he won't ever get the due that he's due by the common folk. They won't even know who he is because he's that much of a genius of the art form.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. It's silly, and my perception of it is kind of broken because I see it as the only place that I fit. And even there, you don't ever fit. Mm-hmm. Like comics are so unique that like you might get along with some and not get along with others. And like, you know, that comedy community, like belonging, sense of belonging.
Yes, for sure.
Maybe it's a me generation thing of got our phones too young. We scrolled too much. We compared too often.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's a lot of us that grew up around my pocket where, you know, we were sad and had a meaningless hopelessness. Like we needed community young and didn't find it. And so we were dealing with that. And then the pandemic happened. And then normie people, for lack of a better term, were suddenly like, where's my community? And we're like, hey guys, we've been here for a while. You know, some of us that have been like deep in the grinding of lacking to find purpose, like, come on in.
Yeah, but that's our thing.
Yeah. Well, we weren't like that. We're not gatekeepers.
Right.
Anyway, it's now we feel like you have this whole rift of young Americans that, man, I don't know if that new product or innovation that saves lives will get invented because maybe that guy or girl or them doesn't have it in them to think they could do it because they're beaten down by lack of purpose.
Yeah.
And that's sad. And that's what I did my like research about in economics about like happiness. And so, like, how do we design making people feel like they can make better things for people?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just, it seems like a scary arc the last 6 years, 7 years. I don't know how would you want to call it, but
yeah. And it to your point, it's like a sense of irony of you grew up not feeling like you belonged, and part of that reason being is you had your phones too early and social media too early, which is like those originally were designed to make people feel like they belong, but really it's, you know, comparison and you know, everyone's only posting their best stuff. Although I will say, I love it when people don't post their best stuff. Like when you can see like someone's losing their mind and they're like, man, they're really going through it. And I am going to screenshot that. Like it's funny as hell.
so you're there for the bad moments too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll throw those a like for sure. It's fun. But yeah, it's interesting what you're saying of like people not feeling like they belong. And hopefully, you know, I mean, people do find social media to then join groups to then make connections that they wouldn't have had, to where then it's like like-minded people, not only connecting online, but then in person, like we're doing here. And then from there, then it can foster that innovation that you're talking about.
Yeah, but okay, here's the weird thing, right?
Let's hear it.
It's a weird little double-edged sword of, okay, now we've created a system with a widespread enough adoption of play, social media, where if I say we were on that show together, and I'm like, hey man, come over to my house and like, let me just like make lunch and like, let's hang out. Like, you're super cool and vibey. So you'd probably say yes.
Yeah.
But on the broad strokes of people in my generation, that's not one, a question that gets posed, or two, one that gets answered yes.
Right.
You have to artificially manufacture a podcast so that you can have normal human connections that used to just exist in society.
Yeah, these aren't even plugged in. Nothing's being recorded. This is all a sham.
Right?
No, it is funny when you say that, right? It's like, what if we just did a podcast?
Sorry, I'm trying to see the red light.
What if we just did a podcast like without mics and be like, that's just called hanging out. And that's what that's called. So
absolutely. Like so I spent a bit of time intersectionally looking at happiness economics.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I got 115 pages into a paper only to be like, I now think this is all fake. Or like us putting data to such an important subjective part of humanhood is meaningless. I came around to invalidate all the work I had done, basically. Anyway, long story short, applying to this, the problem I see now is like, if I could prescribe anything, if I had a young 11-year-old depressed guy, 12-year-old, come to me, it's me in the past, and they come to me for advice, what do I prescribe them? Well, I'm not giving them SSRIs. I'm definitely encouraging therapy. Talk therapy is probably a good thing. They're probably not talking through their emotions and their feelings enough. I'm going to make sure that they're involved in some type of group or activity, primarily with their bodies, sports-wise. But then I'm going to do this weird thing. I'm going to tell them, hey, you're going to go start a podcast. Now, doesn't matter how many people listen to it, doesn't matter anything else, but you need to put a name on it. You need to pick who you're going to do it with, whether you do it yourself, whether you have guests, whether you do it with a certain group of friends, and you got to stick with it for 16 weeks. And you have to do it every single week for 16 weeks. That would be my prescription for a young 12 to 16-year-old depressed person, because I bet they'll find what I found, that doing a podcast brings you so much different joy, long form, not 15-minute like do a podcast, have a conversation with a person. Man, young people would get a huge benefit out of that, I think, because they're not having those conversations. They're not sitting down face to face, looking people in the eyes and saying, hey, what do you think about this?
Because they're staring at their phones and screen time. And yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I would maybe add one of meditation.
I like
in
that
there as well. I know I wasn't asked, but I would add that in.
There's probably more that I need to add beyond just meditation. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, some exercise, some talk therapy, a group activity for sure. And yeah, I mean, it could be athletics, but maybe that's where they don't feel like they fit in. So then maybe it's like, okay, I'm going to go to, I don't know, a poetry night or this or that, or just like something where it gets you around people.
Yep.
Or I know my girlfriend, she's attended a couple like Denver city girl walks
Oh,
at Wash Park. Cool. It's like on Wash Park on Sundays, and it's just girls that live in Denver, and they just meet up and walk and shoot the shit. And because she was living in a suburb, now she lives in the Highlands, and she's like, I've met so many nice people. It's just so nice of like-minded females, and you just shoot the shit, and it's just great to like be able to see like, oh, she's making new friends.
Yeah,
she's making friends, and having that outlet and having that avenue where you can meet those new people that you wouldn't have met before.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, so that is amazing. I want to see more of that in this city. I love that. It's even harder for men, for 23-year-old to 30-year-old men. Like, the statistics show that the number of close friends that men versus women have, even with the advent of social media, men are the ones that are getting just like slapped over the face by it.
Is that like, do you think that could be sound clipped and taken out of context of like, you've heard it here first, men have it harder than women?
When it comes to maintaining connections or friendships through their 20s, I think the data shows it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because men are maybe a little bit easier laid back about their friendships.
Mm-hmm.
And they approach friendships differently than girls do, right?
It's totally different.
I mean,
like,
that's just a fact, right? These are psychological facts.
It's so funny. Like, my girlfriend will say, her name's Sarah, so I'll just refer to Sarah. So Sarah will say like, oh yeah, I haven't talked to like my really good friend in a while. Like, that bums me out. And I'll be like, oh, I haven't talked to my best friend in who knows how long. And I know if I hit him up, like, what up, dude? And it's just like, or like when we see each other.
For example, last night,
yeah,
got an unexpected night off. Usually work Friday, Saturday nights every single week.
Yeah.
Got a night off. I text my buddy 15 minutes I got off after work. Text me back. Yeah, come on up to Fort Collins. Haven't seen him in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That night was going to go hang out with him. And then I got a disposal league. Couldn't go. But like, that's a dude friendship. They're just like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, dude.
Yeah, dudes rock.
Dudes rock is the way to put it.
Yeah, I also have like friendships where like we just have me and all my college buddies. We call ourselves the Wolf Pack, and because we like to howl at the moon, and we bought wolf T-shirts.
And you guys are pretty cool, probably.
Yeah, it was sick as hell. And and we have a Snapchat group chat called the Wolf Pack, and all we do is just send memes back and forth. There's no like actual substance to the conversation, but you're just staying in contact. Or it's like I'll just like send reels to my buddies, and they'll send them back to me, and it's like that's how you stay in contact. And then you see them, and and things are great.
You just fall back into what it was. Exactly. Pretty wild, man.
Yeah.
But we still need a way to have human connection, because whatever this parasocial thing we're getting through social media,
mm-hmm.
even with the memes, even with the staying in contact, it isn't that same deep human connect,
No.
Have a beer with your buddy. It feels way better than those memes you send each other.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. It could be a beer. It could be a coffee. It could be anything.
Whatever. Yeah. And 2 guests in a row that I'm having awesome non-alc. This is I like Peroni. If I was going to get an NA beer for a future guest, I'm going to shoot the Peroni.
Yeah, dude. It's nice. The liquor store by me, they had a bunch of different NA options. Athletic Brewing's really good. Untitled Art is really good. Sam Adams, they have a really good one. But yeah, I went to Red Rocks last night, and I got after it a little bit, so I decided NAs are going to be the route for me today.
Oh, it's the recovery route. I see. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. What'd you see at Red Rocks?
I saw Mount Joy.
Oh, great band.
Oh man, yeah, and
I love that.
And Will Dorado opened up for them, and I've seen Mount Joy. I've been here 4 years. I've seen Mount Joy 4 times. Three of them at Red Rocks, and very thankful for that. They rule.
They're just such a vibes fest, right?
Oh, for sure. Vibes were very high, as were some individuals there. So.
I mean, it's a concert at Red Rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the law.
The doorkeepers, they make you hit a joint before you enter. I think it's legally required.
If you have your arms crossed, police officers go through and they go, sir.
Yeah. We want to make sure you're cool.
You look pretty. Go ahead and hit this, sir.
Yeah.
So in the arc of comedy,
mm-hmm.
you say this 10 years ago, first open mic. Just tell me a little bit about that night. I want to be kind of transported into that night.
Okay. All right. So it's 2014. It's a random Tuesday night, and I find out about open mic comedy. I live with 3 other roommates. I tell them all that I am going to the grocery store because I didn't want anyone to know. And I go to the open mic, and I am nervous as all hell, dude. Oh my God. My hands are sweating, I get to the mic. I sign up. I'm the last person to sign up because they capped the list. And then the guy who's running it, Jake Dickey, he didn't get to me. He had the last person before me, and then he's like, all right, that's it. And then he comes and sees me. He's like, oh my God. He's like, I forgot all about you. I am so sorry. And I was like, you know what? That's okay. That's all right. I'm going to come back next week and do it. And it was nice to have like,
It was fate.
to watch it. And then I go the next week, and I still want to say I did not tell my roommates. And I go, I do my set.
Had you written jokes then for this next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the same jokes that I was going to.
Okay. So you came to the first note kind of knowing what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew it was 5 minutes. I wrote some jokes, a couple of them that I still told up until like a couple years ago. I just haven't told them lately. And yeah, I got laughs, which was cool. And I'm thankful that I had someone take a picture of me doing it. And then
this is something I've asked other people. If you don't want to share, feel free. Oh, and we got to flip the wings, so you're gonna have to stay tuned. I'm gonna ask him when we come back from this break what his first joke he ever did was. But these wings need a flipping. Have you listened to radio before in your life?
I have listened to radio.
I'm gonna give a quick station identification. You're listening to 91.1. Oh shit, was that another plane? We'll be right back. We're back and we're live, and we're gonna hear about a first joke. Now, some guests have answered this, the first joke they ever wrote. Some, the first joke they ever performed. I'll let you decide what you'd like to give us.
I have no idea what the first joke I ever wrote was, so I'm going to go with the first joke I ever performed. I get brought on stage, and then I say, hi, my name is Nick. My full name is Nicholas, and the Serbian side of my family calls me Nikola, and my college friends call me Nikolai. But my dad, he's a little bit different. He pronounces it failure. I was like, I don't know if it's like his thick Swedish accent, like why I'm hearing it that way. I was like, I looked it up. I think it means God's gift. But yeah, that's how he says it. It was something along those lines.
That's good. I like that. That's
funny. It's fun. And then I went into the next one of, wait, no, I didn't write that one yet. I did. I think the second joke I told, which is not what you asked, but it was about passing a anti-abortion sign, and then I call it my mom because it said smile, your mom chose life is the sign. So I called it my mom, and this is true. And I was like, hey mom, like I just passed a sign that said smile, your mom chose life. Like I didn't know you were thinking about aborting me. And then according to the joke, I'm like, she's like, oh well, no, of course not, honey, no, like we would never do that, like that sign's for your brother. And then it's like, guys, I don't have a brother.
Oh man.
So
that's good. I like that.
Yeah, it's fun. It was a good time.
The first joke, I remember the first joke I ever wrote because it's so hacky, I could never forget it. There was this girl in my high school that got pretty bad spray tans. She looked very orange. Her name was Nicole Tangy. And the joke was, I just can't eat things that are orange that don't taste like carrots. It confuses my brain. Like sweet potatoes, yams, Nicole Tangy. It's like barely a joke. It's really only a setup and a premise, but
that's okay. It's your first joke. It's whatever. Yeah, that's
but it got some laughs around the high school of the people that I was telling it to. But
what so you told it to your high school?
It was just like that was the first joke I ever wrote.
Oh, okay.
Like remember writing in stand-up form, like
got it.
This is a stand-up joke, like written in that style or whatever.
I like it.
Yeah, well, it'll never get used again, so that's why I can say it over and over.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
all right.
And then the first 5 minutes I did, it was in 2018, and it was right around the time that people were like, you can't say the word midget. Midget is offensive. Which, okay, fine. The whole 5 minutes is basically me, extra tall person, going on stage like, listen, I'm so tall that I should be able to say it, type like a white man but is black enough to say the N-word type of premise. Horrible.
Yeah.
Hacky ass premise that I'm doing for my first open mic.
How'd it go?
Not great.
Was it a crowd full of midgets?
No, I don't think there was a single midget there. They would have liked it.
Well, yeah, you probably wouldn't have seen them if there was a midget there.
No. Well, at that club I would have.
Okay.
It was a basement club, and I remember I was literally half an inch from the ceiling when I was stood on stage with the microphone.
Jeez.
That close. Nobody that was 6'10" could have ever performed here.
No.
You'd have had to sit down. 6'9".
Nice.
Yeah.
That's sick as hell.
Like 6'8.5", but 6'9" is like way funnier.
Yeah,
so
6'9" for
6'9".
sure. Yeah, just to say that, just to get the nice.
I mean, NBA is listing me at 6'10", so we can concede down to 6'9".
Count it.
Bucket, and one. How about are you a fan of basketball?
I am a fan of basketball.
Did you see that Serbia-United States semifinal game?
I'm Serbian. My mom's from Serbia.
Cool. I was cheering for Serbia. The last episode I had on, we got asked, who would you choose to take on the Monstars if not LeBron? And I said Nikola Jokic, and Tommy O'Neill just gave me shit for it. And then he almost beat the Monstars yesterday.
Yeah. I think Serbia's playing in their bronze medal game.
They won.
We won bronze?
Bronze.
Let's fucking go. Oh my God.
And before Nikola even celebrated with his team, he shook every player and coach's hand on Germany's side. Because he is a man. He is the guy.
Yes. We got bronze. Oh my God. I'm so pumped. Dude, that was so heartbreaking watching that game.
Oh, you're telling me, bro. I bet the money line plus 800. I was about to win a bunch of money.
So I bet it.
My friends are calling me crazy.
And then I cashed out.
Oh, you so smart. I should have cashed out.
Which I did that for France as well. When they were up, I cashed out mid-game. I was like, okay.
They were destroying them.
Yeah. And then I forgot about cashing that out with Serbia when they were up by like 18. But I did cash out when they were up by like 12. So it's like I only put
at least didn't lose. Yeah.
I think I only put like $5 on it. I don't know. It's just something for fun.
I did a 10, so it was like, I wasn't that banged up about it.
But yeah, man. Oh, I was so pumped. I had my Serbia jersey on. You
have a Serbia jersey?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if I gave you because literally there's one thing in the world, material thing that I want right now, and it is a Nikola Jokic Serbian jersey.
Yeah.
And I will pay whatever it takes for it to be authentic. I want that.
Yeah.
I'm a big dude. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Because I wear it like him. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Whatever amount of money, I'll give you cash. You talk to the channels. Doesn't matter. That's what I want. It could take you 3 years to get this jersey, Nick. I'll still give you the cash today.
Mine is not the basketball jersey. It is the Serbian soccer team's national kit that I got in Serbia when I was there with my mom.
I got to pull up a picture, see what this looks like, because I'm not familiar. Not as big of a soccer head as I need to be. Football head.
But yeah, so I was wearing that. I was watching it. I was pumped. I was nervous the whole time. I was talking to a couple Serbian friends about it.
That goes hard.
And then I didn't really feel fully confident because it literally is the super team that they're playing.
The Monstars.
And I'm watching it, and then, oh my God, Steph Curry, also being from Cleveland and having faced the Warriors and Steph Curry in 4 finals, I'm like, dude, what a little bitch. He's so good. I hate it, but he has such a punchable face. And he's so talented and such a good 3-point shooter.
I told my coworker, I'm like, there's no way he shows up in the second half. He hasn't played 2 halves of basketball in 160 games. I've watched it. And then he shows up and puts 10 in the second half. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, when I forgot what Serbian player, he got in LeBron's face. And I was like, you don't do that. You don't do that to LeBron. You're going to wake the bear. And then LeBron just comes back with another, different look on his face. He hits a 3. He goes to the rim, and I'm like, this isn't good.
It was Abramovich, our point guard, too. Yeah. I think, right?
It was our...
I know Bogdan was talking to Melo and giving Melo the 3.
It was Bogdan.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the fourth quarter, Serbia was shooting lights out from 3, and then they didn't make a single 3-pointer the whole fourth quarter, and we couldn't stop Steph Curry. And... oh my God, I was legitimately so sad after the game.
I was real sad too.
Yeah.
And I am cheering against my country as a proud patriot.
Yeah.
Because I think that Nikola Jokic, the way he plays basketball, better represents the ideals of my nation.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's a sad state for American basketball.
Yeah.
When the way that this guy conducts himself on the court is how I want my son to play the game versus...
Yes.
Too small. You're losing by 14 points. You get a dunk over someone and you give him the too small LeBron. What are we doing, man?
That wasn't good. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I'll take bronze. That's cool. I will say I love living in Denver because the fact that the best basketball player on the planet plays for our city. And the fact that people are so obsessed with him to the point of like,
They hate him. Some people hate him.
yeah, but like to the point of like around here where people were like you said, rooting for Serbia, my little motherland, because of our basketball player. I'm like, I love it. It's so
cool.
great. It makes me feel so comfortable. It's awesome. There is a small Serbian church, St. John the Baptist in Lakewood. I've only been 2 or 3 times, but they do half in Serbian, half in English, and just really nice people. So if anyone wanted more Serbian culture, or if you want any food recommendations for Serbian food, I'm all about it.
I'm gonna need to get some of those off you because I'm about it.
You got the grill, dude. Oh man, you go to a Euro store, like an import store. I think there's one in like Southeast Denver, and you get some cevapi.
Ooh,
and it's just like Serbian sausages. You put those on the grill, and then you have like raw onion, and you dice those up, and then you have a piece of bread, and then you make like a little sandwich, and it's literally my favorite food in the world.
All right, I'm in. Let's do it. Absolutely. We're gonna run it back for episode 2 of the Nick Ellis experience.
It's gonna be sick as hell.
Damn, dude. Well, that's cool to find out you're Serbian. I just been a huge fan of Nikola. I've told previous guests that I played basketball, but I wasn't very athletic. I was always the heady player on the court that saw the game well, that knew how to pass, knew how to dribble for a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
We had this walking challenge in my elementary school where you had to walk 60 miles. So you get a prize over the course of a couple months. I dribbled 100 miles with my left hand in 4th grade.
Why?
Because I wanted to with my left hand, because I knew I could do it with my right hand, but I knew the left hand would be a bit of a challenge.
That rules.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's the kind of like ball handling big dudes, but I was never going to I don't have the athleticism. I'm not quick at all, nor fast, you can't teach it. So if I would have seen him playing in the league when I was like 12, I maybe would have pursued like a D3, D2, like just for the love of the game type of continuing to play.
Yeah.
But I stopped after freshman year because I was like, I'm going to chill with the homies and throw disc.
Yeah. I mean, while I was watching the game, I was like, man, like Serbia is going up, like you said, against the Monstars, and they were up by 18, and they should have won if they could keep it together in the 4th quarter. All I'm saying is, if Serbia could, for their basketball purposes, reunite for Yugoslavia, which was the country as a whole before the 90s war and NATO bombings and all that. But man, you'd have Luka Doncic on there as well, and Jokic, and like having 2 of the best players in the world being from that same region, like it's awesome.
I don't know if you've heard Vic Lombardi, who's on 92.5, talk about this at all, but he's made the point, and he's been attacked for it, that he thinks that you could take the former Yugoslavian countries and take players from that area, and they would beat any team that America could put up.
I agree.
And I kind of do agree now. I kind of think we should let Jamal's contract go, and I kind of think we sign anyone with an itch in their name.
Yeah. Well, we signed a Serbian dude. I think we either drafted him or we signed him. I forget who it is, but I mean Doncic, I think some Serbians claim him as ours, just because I think his heritage is Serbian, but he was born in Slovenia, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, if you want to watch some Yugoslavian basketball, there's a great 30 for 30 on Netflix. I want to say it's called Two Brothers. Yeah, really? And it's Vlade Divac.
Yes, okay.
And I'm forgetting who else. But yeah, it goes through that Yugoslavian basketball team. This was through the 90s and getting ready for, I want to say the Olympics or some like Euro basketball cup. And
that's when they had a genocide, right?
Yes.
Like in the mid 90s.
Yep. And then the countries were splitting up.
Yeah.
And so I think, this is just me saying this, I think NATO bombed Yugoslavia to split up the basketball team because the U.S. knew that they could not stop Yugoslavia in basketball. And this is a joke. But,
I mean, it makes sense that the CIA would see that coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? The team's going to be too good in the early aughts if we don't stop them now.
Dude, they're so good. So that's my Serbian basketball rant.
Wow, interesting. So it is political, the reason that Serbia didn't win yesterday.
Yes.
It's the CIA's... I'm going to go further.
Goddamn Joe Biden's America.
It's George Bush Sr.'s fault. If he does not exist as a person on this planet, arguably, and someone doesn't take his place, because someone probably would, let's just say, George Bush Sr. not there. I'm telling you, Serbia wins the game yesterday. They beat the United States. They win gold today. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But because Luka Doncic plays for Slovenia, not Serbia.
Yeah, I will say minor detail that I want to say when that was going on, Clinton was doing the bombings and was president.
Right, but the head of the CIA and the intelligence communities was George Bush Sr., to my understanding.
That was before he was president.
Wasn't he president after Clinton?
He was president 88 to 92.
Okay. So he was in the late 70s, early 80s. He was the head of the intelligence agencies?
I want to say yes.
So he was focused on destabilizing Afghanistan then? When the Russians came in 76 and they tried to destabilize Afghanistan, and then he came and countered probably then.
Well, wasn't he president during the end of the Cold War?
Right.
Yep. So that was late 80s then.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And then it was to Clinton.
Then it was Clinton for 2 terms. Then it was George Bush Jr.
Right. Okay.
2000, 2008. Then it was Obama.
And by then, the intelligence state had been so well laid that Yugoslavia and that kind of thing we had towers to take care of at that point.
Exactly. I mean, I will say I want to say 2004, it wasn't the countries getting back together, but Serbia and Montenegro, I know at least played in the FIFA World Cup as one country.
Oh.
So I'm just saying, and I want to say that they were a joint country and then they split up from there, or maybe they just joined as a team, but it could happen where we could just get Yugoslavia back together for this next round of the Olympics.
Does Serbia have a large agricultural economic base similar to how Ukraine does? Or do you not know?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. I don't have production here. We don't fact check unless we have someone else to fact check. We stay locked in. So all of it's allegedly and for the entertainment purposes only. Go look up your own facts. We don't have them.
We have no facts.
We're just here for laughs and vibes.
Yeah. And I mean, we've covered some pretty serious topics.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I do think there was an arc of the intelligence community that led to Serbia not winning the basketball game yesterday. That's all I'm trying to say. Just saying, we could have had Luka. And actually, you know what? I want your take on this. Do you think the Nuggets would be better with Luka? Like if you say just straight up for Jamal. Just straight up for Jamal.
Okay.
Like if you Jamal Luka swap. Do you think the team is a better team?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jokic and Jamal, they get along so well. Their camaraderie is so good. I mean, Jamal went with Jokic to Serbia and they hung out over the summertime, right? So I think that vibe there definitely plays into leading me to believe that maybe it wouldn't be as good just because there is that camaraderie, but also anytime you see Jokic and Luka together, they're shooting the shit and they're brothers too. So
I wonder about the play style of Luka in that he's more ISO, like his ISO, and Jamal sometimes gets my frustration for this exact reason of Jamal's dribble, cross, step, like get rid of the ball.
2 seconds left and then he shoots
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like we're wasting half of the shot clock because we're just doing one-on-one man moves. And I feel like Luka's the similar kind of vibe where a lot of his game is predicated on getting the feel out of the defender doing the one-on-one moves. So anything in my head where I'm like, Luka would slow down the flow of the Nuggets offense. Would he? Like Jamal kind of already does that, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But it would be cool to see.
I would be. I'm on board for us making some changes and waves while we have this great superstar here. We shouldn't sit on our hands.
No. I mean, how fun was it though when they won it all?
Oh my god, so fun.
It ruled. I was watching the game at Stoney's.
Greatest.
Love Stoney's. Watched the game. Had a great time. Went out in the streets. Because I wanted to make my way to Union Station to then take the light rail back to my neck of the woods. So then we hung out at Union Station, had a couple more beers, and then past midnight, I'm taking the train back, and so fun. It was so great.
The city really coalesced around both the Avalanche and then the Nuggets the following year.
Yeah.
It was so cool to see.
Did you go to the parade?
This is a sports town, too, and I went to the Nuggets parade.
Me too.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was as close as I could get to. We were in mostly the Civic Center Park area. We didn't really see the parade along the way. We just watched it.
Okay. But yeah, I did the opposite. I hung out along the parade because I cut out for lunch and took the train in, checked out the parade, and then took the train back and went back to work.
Yeah.
It was nice.
What do you do for work?
I do IT project management for a bank.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. So did you study that in college then?
Yes, I studied, it's a mix of IT and business called Management Information Systems, but it's through the College of Business. So
That's what my dad studied.
Oh, yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was good. It was interesting.
I think he got his master's in Management Information Systems, actually.
Oh, really?
At Loyola. I think that might have been what he was.
Okay, so a Chicago guy.
Yeah. Well, but that's where he went for grad school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He never seemed to enjoy it as much as he enjoys flying jets now. So
Okay, that's sick. Loyola, yeah, I remember a few years, like probably 5 years back, I was in Chicago for St. Patty's Day, and it was during March Madness, and Loyola, they were like an underdog, and they were playing, I forget who, but yeah, they were an underdog, and we were watching the game at the bar, and they ended up winning.
Oh, is
and
that the year they had the nun that was like there with them?
Sister Jean.
Sister Jean, yes. Yeah. Thank you. They were riding the Sister Jean wave.
It was electric. It was so fun.
That's their holiday, right?
Yeah.
That's Chicago's holiday.
That day I got drunk 2 different times. We got drunk in the morning, and then we went back and napped, sobered up, and then we went back out and we watched the Loyola game. I got drunk again, and I was like, man, what a day.
Yeah. My college had something like that. It was called Flunk Day.
Okay.
So spring term, sometime after spring break, the thing is like tomorrow's always Flunk Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why would I do my homework? That assignment that's due, tomorrow's going to be Flunk Day.
I like that.
And what happens is 6 a.m., every senior flunk committee runs around, wakes everybody up. You find out it's Flunk Day. The college gets a bunch of kegs out, and, back in the early aughts and 90s, this used to be like a real fucking rager.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there during the Me Too lame era. But, they didn't want to provide a bunch of alcohol, get their people drunk, and have someone get, assaulted. That makes sense to me.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think that's very fair.
I mean, that seems fair, but the story sounded epic, Nick.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, here's the thing, though. You could buy your own keg and do your...
People did that.
Yeah.
And then but the college should pay for it. That's my point.
Yeah.
We pay enough in tuition that they should pay to get it.
I should get 1 keg of beer with my tuition, please.
Come on.
Yeah.
That seems like good Midwestern values to me.
That is, yeah. And then everyone drives home.
No. It's a residential campus. Walk.
That's fine. That works.
So yeah, that was the joke, that every day is going to be a Flunk Day. And you'd start up, you'd get drunk in the morning, and then everyone goes back for a couple hour nap, and then you party all through the night again.
I like it. Yeah. The idea of doing that now sounds absolutely awful.
Horrible, right?
Absolutely terrible. But it is nice, like last night, where you can tie one on a bit, and you're like, I still got it. I still got it. It's nice. Oh man.
So what's tying one off look like for you nowadays then? How many drinks is tying one off? Because I know I had like some bevs back at a family reunion recently for a funeral, and I got like just past the point of feeling buzzed into maybe getting drunk, because I'm a big dude. It takes a lot. That was like 6 drinks. It's like I don't ever drink 6 drinks anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think last night I had, 3, I think 6. I think I had 6 beers. Yeah, also had a bit of marijuana.
Oh, see that? The enhancement.
That was the but I was careful not to have too much, because I've done that before. I've had rocks where the person next to me is like, hey, you want to hit this joint? And I was like, sure. And I took 1 hit. And I was like, I'm out of my mind now, and I'm not enjoying the show. So it's like it's a delicate dance.
I always find myself like struggling with the spins in college when I would do cross. If I was going to do marijuana and like any like serious level alcohol other than just like a couple sips of a beer, yeah, I would get the spins. That was my thing.
Yeah,
just could not handle it.
Well, it's interesting how like at least I feel there's so much. I know myself so much more of like for beers. Okay, what's fine, what's not. Like a couple months ago, my cousin got married, so went back to Cleveland, and there's a large Serbian population there as well, a lot of Eastern Europeans too. And this was a Serbian wedding, and with the Serbian wedding, it's like an all-day affair.
Nice.
Where you start in the morning, you go to the groom's home, and there's someone with an accordion already, and it's like 9 a.m, everyone's dressed to 9, and you're drinking and hanging out, and hors d'oeuvres. And then you go to the bride's home, and you buy the bride. The groom has to buy the bride from the family, and then everyone eats more. And then you go to the
How much does a bride cost nowadays with inflation?
Yeah, with inflation, I don't know. I don't know how much.
When I go to the store and I see that they changed the name of the bread to Pump or Dime, I mean, it's got to be hitting the woman market hard too.
It is. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing as well. But yeah, then there's a ceremony, then there's a break for a couple hours, and there's a reception. So it's an all-day affair.
Also, is that cash payment or check? Like
Cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Nice. I like that. Go Serbia. That's sick.
It rules. It's so much fun. It was my girlfriend's first time experiencing a Serbian wedding. She's like, this is just so interesting.
So it's a reverse dowry.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so I understand, because like culturally, a dowry is right. The lady's family gives it to the man's family, right? Is that right?
I don't know.
Okay. I think that the lady's family would give a cow. Like here's your wife and a cow.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. No.
You can feed her now, type of deal.
Yes.
But it's a reverse. The man's family's like, hey, like that lady. Here's some cash.
Right. I want her.
One, please.
Yeah. I went up there with the checkbook and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know.
You don't have more?
I didn't.
Out of stock?
But I say all that to say it was an all-day drinking affair, and I had quite a few drinks. And but then the next day was fine. Was a bit hungover, but it also helps drinking here and then going home at sea level to where...
You're like a super athlete. There.
Exactly. I'm high altitude training.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Wow. So high altitude IPA training is really what I've been doing. Okay. It's a good perspective. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm training at high altitudes.
Yes. And now we have NAs.
Yeah. Well, we're having a good time.
Yes.
NA regardless.
It's true.
And these wings are getting closer and closer, or they should be, unless I didn't start a timer. I didn't start a timer. That's great. Love that for me. They're like, let's see. Quick maths. They've got like 10 more minutes, and then we're good.
I was gonna say it's 1:00 in case you needed the time.
I mean, somewhere around there, we should be fine. They usually don't. That's why we do not ribs, wings. That's why I do wings, because they're a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
If it was brisket, man, I'd be not tending to this conversation. I'd be tending to the meat.
Right.
Making sure that's the thing I'm worried about. But
that makes sense. Well, yeah, just bring the smoker in here. There's no way that would be a bad idea.
Dude, what a great idea. Also, Alec Flynn, I'm going to just call him out on this. And he didn't know, because I think he was on my show early enough that I wasn't doing food for all the guests at that point. But I've made a brand out of serving my guests food, and you're doing a grill ASMR thing. I see you. I love it. Keep it up. But come on my show when you're back in town.
Yeah, I like his pod.
His grill ASMR is funny as fuck. It's a good vibe. It's a good chilling around, like, I'm going to cook some meat. We're just going to chill. That's what this pod is, except it's not in front of us. Do you want me to put the smoker right here, Alec? Is that what I have to do to show that that's my brand?
I think that is. Yeah.
We have to inoculate ourselves with smoke just for the fans, just for the vibes.
It was funny. Yesterday I ran into someone that my friend had a friend, and she's like, oh... She was trying to remember this certain comic or name a certain comic. She's like, what was his name? He's really handsome. And she wasn't talking about me, which that has been a question before. Or like I thought of like, you're the handsome comic, right? Ooh. Which is nice. It's nice. It's mostly from dudes, but it's nice. But I was like, oh, you mean Alec Flynn? And she's like, yes. And I was like, got it.
The handsome comic. That's what I call him too. I call him the guy with the shelf on the behind. He's got a reverse shelf. Mama had the shelf up here. Alec had the shelf back there. You know what I'm saying? That's what you get from playing hockey and being short, though. So,
yeah, I think that's how that works.
I could never have a shelf, Alec. I could do 1,000,000 squats. I could work on my pelvic floor all day and night, and my ass will never look like his because I'm 6'9".
Nice.
These calves, they can't get bigger than this.
Dude,
look up pictures of LeBron James calves, Nick.
Look
they
at
look
your
like
calves, dude.
These calves.
Your calves are fucking sick as hell.
This is just carrying around fat weight, though. This is 330 pounds of walking. This isn't like jumping out of the gym or nothing.
Yeah, but look at them. Show them for the camera.
I don't think
That's nice.
They're shit.
No, they're not. Don't you dare take
my
those for
back
granted.
Works again. I mean, I'm taking them only for granted if I can't walk, and I can walk right now, so that's good for me.
That is good for you.
I got spinal surgery, double fusion, like not 2 years, 1.5 years now.
Oh, Jesus. So, what'd you do?
You're too tall to live, Doc said.
That's not good.
People aren't supposed to be this big. I legit, though, have a joke about it. My chiropractor when I was 16, he's like, the human frame, not meant to support a body above 6'2". You're going to have a lot of health problems until you die a young death.
Oh man, that's so good. I think I'm a scooch over 6'2", so I think I'm 6'3".
Yeah, so you're like, that's perfect. That's where you want to be.
Taller than 92% of the world.
Perfect.
So, that's sick.
99.987th percentile, not where you want to be. A lot of people don't live in those types of extremes. 3 standard deviations to the right, don't want to be there.
You're literally built different.
Built different and wrong. Correct.
we built this with spare parts.
This one's put together incorrectly.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Godspeed.
But yeah, so.
Can I tell you something exciting that I did today?
I would love to hear something exciting you did today.
I bought a moped.
Okay. Teach me the way, because I'm in like the city and I'm ripping around in my big ass truck. It's a pain in the butt. I want something small that I can just crotch rocket around in. This seems like my dream.
Dude, I'm so pumped. I bought it. It was literally right before I came from the moped person to here. And so I literally bought it today.
For you, man.
Dude, I'm pumped. I'm so excited.
How long you been looking? What was the search like? Tell me about it.
I've had the idea for like...
The dream, the idea, the dream.
I have said I've wanted a moped for like 2 years.
Okay.
I have actually looked like maybe like 3 months.
Okay.
And I've looked, and then I finally went to go see my first moped from Facebook Marketplace last week.
Okay.
And no, it was earlier this week. So a lot happened this week. I saw 3 mopeds this week. And the first one, it was right in my neck of the woods, which was cool. It was nice, but there was like no title. So like no proof of ownership. And there was tape on it. And I was like, I want one where I like legally own it. And then the second one, it had all the bells and whistles.
Do you get it like titled like a car in Colorado? Is that how it works? Or
you don't need a title. You need a bill of sale. And as long as it's a smaller engine of like a 50cc, then you don't need a motorcycle license. I think you just need to make sure that your insurance would also cover it. But you like in Denver, you can ride it in the bike lane.
Insurance doesn't cover anything to begin with, so
right?
Why even ask?
But yeah, you can ride in the bike lane. You can ride it on the street. I think it caps out at like 40, 45.
That's enough for me to get to work.
Oh, for sure. Like that's all I want. I just want to, because my girlfriend lives 3 miles from me, so I'm just gonna, and over in the Swans Lake area as well. So I just want to ride it to and fro.
Oh yeah.
Her into the brewery and
so much fun. It's such a better, more relaxing way to get around too.
Yeah.
Like your outlook on life, you're going to be able to notice more things, I think.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
So yeah, man, I'm so pumped. So yeah, and then.
So is it 50cc?
It's 50cc.
Okay.
I bought it from a guy. They live in the suburbs just southeast of here. And nicest guy, super kind. He had a Miami of Ohio hat on. And I was like, "Oh, you from Ohio?" And he's like, "No, my son goes there." He's like, "But we're from Pennsylvania." So I was like, "Well, I'm in Ohio. I went to school up the road." There's like the camaraderie there.
Nice.
It was like a nice residential area, which like reminded me of like my parents. And like, this seems like just like a nice guy. He's like, "I'm the only one that's owned this motorcycle or this moped. I've had it since 2010. It just got work done at the moped place in South Broadway called Sportique. It had like all the bells and whistles tuned up and everything." He's like, "Take it for a spin." So I took it for a spin, and on like the 3rd street that I rode it, and I was like, "I'm buying this," and I'm pumped. So,
what does without getting too, what does a moped run like? What's a range for these bad boys?
So I think a new one runs like 4K or higher.
Yeah, no, that's not for me. I'd be in the Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, for sure. There's some used ones like low 1000s to like mid. High 1000s.
Yeah.
There's some ones like under 1,000 as well, but
work needed type of
work probably needed. I don't know anything.
Yeah, I'm bad with that too. So I'd have to be trying to find one that works as well.
Yeah,
well, good for you, man. That's so exciting.
Yeah, so it's still there. I'm gonna go at some point during this upcoming week and pick it up, and I'm pumped.
That's exciting, man.
Yeah,
that's great. How do you get it back over to your place?
I think I'm going to have my girlfriend drive me in her vehicle, and then I'm going to ride it. So it'll be a bit of a stretch of a ride.
Dang, how many? Yeah.
It's like 12 miles.
Okay.
But I think it might be a nice like middle ground point to meet up somewhere on like South Broadway and like break it up a bit.
Oh yeah, get some lunch or something. Yeah,
because I'm over by Sloan's, so like it's not terrible.
Yeah,
but it's like I want to take just back roads.
Yeah, yeah.
I also think it might not be a bad idea though if I just rent a U-Haul and put it in that, and then not put my first time riding it to be like an extended.
Well,
drive.
How about this? I don't know how long it is. Do you know how long it is? Like the length?
Oh.
Is it under 6 feet in length?
Yeah.
Is it under 5'8" in length?
I don't know.
Okay. I can maybe help you. You can use my truck. Or I can use my truck. Don't rent a U-Haul, dude. That's why I got a truck.
It'd be sick as hell.
Fucking definitely. I would love to help you with it.
Oh, man.
100%. Because, yeah, don't rent a U-Haul. Fuck that.
Cool.
Truck doesn't get enough truck usage as is, so.
It'd be so manly. It's gonna be so manly, but also like so.
It's like the gayest way to be a man.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say it because I've got the card. I can say the F word. For those of you who don't know, haven't met me, I have it in the back pocket. I'm not gonna pull it out now, but I can say it. So.
No, yesterday or the other day I was sitting in my Subaru, so I'm not manly either, and I looked to the right of me, and there's just a nice looking dude sitting on his moped. It's like a sunny day. And I'm like, that's my sexuality right there. It's like
moped sexual.
It's like I'm not gay, but I'm like metrosexual, like gay adjacent of like he could be from the looks of it. And I just love the idea of like having a moped and just like a nice like Hawaiian shirt.
Dude.
And just like...
I'm right there with you, brother. Unfortunately, I walk the same line, the fine line of moped sexuality. Yeah. That's what this episode's getting titled, Moped Sexual.
That's nice.
That's a good title for that.
That's a great title.
It is. Thank you for...
Jot it down.
Producer... Oh, they're not here. That's fine.
Oh, man. This is going to be good. Yeah, but you can take a spin on it, too.
I love it, dude. That's great. Well, seriously, though, if you do want to use the truck instead of a U-Haul, you got my phone number. But we're going to go eat some wings.
Let's do it.
All right, it's your turn for the station identification. You can go ahead and just make it up on the fly.
All right. Hey, you've been listening to 92.3. That's 92.3. We don't have a station name yet because we're new, but we'll be right back. Thanks. Bye.
It's new. Bye. We're here and we're live, and it's the After Hours show. Man, those wings were garlicky.
So much garlic.
I switched up and I used a different rub, and it had too much garlic in it. So that's a lesson, kids. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Stick with the original recipe.
Yeah, what's the original recipe?
It's a different rub.
Okay.
So just should have done that. Would have been better. Also, I didn't need to get the marinated chicken wings. I could have just gotten normal chicken wings. But they didn't have them, so that's what I did. Oh well, it was still fine.
It was good.
6.2 is the official rating. If you want to hear, I will say, the eating conversation this time. One of the best conversations during the eating I've ever had. Head over to patreon.com/intolerable. Any support you give us just goes back to put more food into the mouths of future guests like Nick. And we are running a special. It's the lowest they'll let me put it at. I think it's like $2. It's the lowest the Patreon will let me put. So special, you'll get all access to all the Volted and eating episodes and all that good stuff. So
you're basically losing money if you don't do that.
Girl math.
And yeah, you get more money in your pocket. You can buy more garlic.
Yep. I'm gonna buy real garlic and not a rub next time, just to really overpower you. No, that was really quite garlicky. A little too much. You're perusing the history of the show.
I am.
Lots of new friends. It's been crazy to look back. Finally made the jump to video after 100 and some odd episodes, but maybe 100 episodes later we'll have a dedicated producer and team. Who knows? It's been a interesting ride. I've gotten more out of it and different things out of it than I expected.
That's fun.
Which I think is the point of creative endeavors, it seems.
What did you originally expect to get out of it?
Well, I started with my buddy, and it was me and him shooting the shit. Going to talk about the news or topical political things or our life. And then he quit, and I was trying to like keep it going. We had kind of settled into having guests on the show, and he just kind of wanted the show to be just us talking, and I totally get that. And yeah, you just kind of I had to accept and go with the change of what it was, and just kept going with guests. And yeah, I think I've kind of settled into a lane. And now he's out in New York, so I'm encouraging him to go get a door guy job at any comedy club to try to get near it, to be a sponge, you know?
Yeah.
Because he talks about how he wants to do it. It's like, dude, just get near it. Be a sponge. Do as much as you can around it.
Yeah.
I think it's, for me personally, man, I bet I learn way more being that sound guy at Comedy Works than I would if I was spending that time at an open mic. Because of the way my brain is overanalyzing fucking everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking through things too much.
Yeah.
And I think being near a professional level of the people that are coming into our club is really valuable. To be like, oh, he did that like that this show, and here's why. Mm-hmm. I noticed he moved this 10 minutes away from his set completely on Saturday because there was an attack on Jewish people, and this 10 minutes about Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
Like these little things. It's like, oh, okay, these are little, like, you're just trying to collect little lessons, and then hopefully someday I'll get to apply the lesson.
Yeah, whereas at an open mic, if there's an attack on an ethnic group, you're probably going to hear 5 jokes about that attack. So I could say that just from a few years ago when there was the shooting in Boulder.
At the King Soopers?
At the King Soopers. No, it was at Safeway.
Okay, Safeway.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
No,
I know
it was
exactly.
King Soopers. Either way. I was at an open mic, and like 4 people made jokes about the shooting. So one of them was me, but in such poor taste.
I have a joke about shooting that I've been trying to work. It's like, I get lots of questions about my height, but growing up in Colorado, I get some weird ones. Like, is the shooter still in aisle 9? Can we move to the back of the store? You know, because I can see over the shelves.
Oh, okay. I like that.
And because my state likes to shoot each other in grocery stores.
I have realized that.
Yeah, it's weird. We like that. Couldn't we find... Isn't this a reason to have a Hunger Games? Like, can't we direct this rage somewhere?
I think it would be, a good use of and pay-per-view it or stream it.
Yes, sell it.
It's on the Patreon. Check it out.
I just think that it's so clear that we've got so many people that are dealing with mental health issues, and it seems like we...
Keep giving them guns.
Yeah. Or not giving them social services.
Mm-hmm.
Or a combination of both.
Yes.
And that seems to for the masses.
Oh, yeah.
But what doesn't seem dangerous for the masses, actually what might be entertaining for the masses, is if you've got these people on a watch list. They always say after the event happens, well, he was on a watch list. Okay, pull out the list, get him in a place, put some guns in the middle, let's go, pay-per-view.
Here we go.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
we're already doing horribly unethical things. All I'm saying is, let's get some entertainment out of it, folks, in this dying empire.
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, it'll help increase the country's GDP. So, well, 2 for 1.
Sell some hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about the GDP.
Yeah.
How could I? How could I let that slip? Mm-hmm. So we are moving. This episode will be out well into the run of election cycle now. And we've been making some bold predictions with guests about what they think is going to happen. My guest on July 4th hoped that both the candidates had passed from natural causes. It seems like he was half right, sort of, on one of those.
Yeah.
Any bold predictions on where we might find ourselves when this drops mid-September?
Am I the first guest that is on this podcast to discuss this after Biden dropped out and Kamala is now the main party candidate?
I think you're the second, but yes. You might be the first for us to really dig into this.
Am I the first then that since Waltz is now the VP?
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
So let's update the average aunt of mine that hasn't, let's say an aunt's listening to this and she just doesn't deal with the mainstream media, the news or Twitter. Let's tell her a little bit about what's happened.
Well, I'll say if it's an average aunt, she's watching Fox News or CNN for sure. So she's definitely updated.
That's true. We probably need to pick Uncle here.
Uncle as well. They are too. But either way, as an update, Trump is obviously still running. His VP is JD Vance. He's
he's the guy that wrote a book.
He wrote a book, apparently.
That's what I hear. They made a Netflix movie out of the book, right?
Oh, yes. It was about like growing up.
Author of Hillbilly Elegy? You're telling me is Trump's VP pick?
And apparently he fucks couches.
No! This is... Okay, I'm going to stand up for this. No! It was taken as a out-of-context thing, and it was referenced on mainstream media to part of his book. Then people went to his book. They said, that quote's not there.
Yeah.
And you know what the mainstream media did? I don't know what you're talking about. He likes to fuck couches.
It was on the Associated Press, and then they removed or something the article, but it was too late.
Yes, I know. It's a zeitgeist thing due to the internet that like almost everything we know about both sides of this campaign, they're not true.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel really safe as an American voter.
It rules. Yeah.
So JD Vance likes to fuck couches.
Yes, and then Kamala is now, since Biden dropped out, which I think is very good.
Yes. He should have done it democratically, don't you think? I mean, going through the primaries, the Democratic voters being like, that's our guy. And then them being like, no, the party agrees that she's our girl.
Yeah, that's what I don't like.
It just seems a little weird.
It's very weird. So Kamala is the main party pick, and then she picked the governor of Minnesota,
Tim Walz. Is it Walz?
Walz. Yeah.
And this guy's weird too, apparently.
He seems like a cool dude. He just seems like a normal like dad.
All right. Have you heard the couch story about him?
I've heard that he referenced having a debate with JD Vance and said something along the lines of like, I'll debate you, if you'll get off the couch.
Oh, no. He has his own little I like to fuck couches story, except his story is allegedly real in that it was published in a local newspaper. How real is that? I think we could have a separate debate about. He was hospitalized because he ingested too much horse semen when he lived in Nebraska in like his early 30s. Tim Walz.
Wow.
And the article, let me just, because it's there's some interesting verbiage in the article. I thought, at least it was funny verbiage. I mean, what you got to find fun somewhere. And then there's memes, like Tim Walz.
That's great.
I mean, that's great. I gotta find this, but it's very, I don't know if it's real. I read this art. It's like a newspaper clipping from the 90s or 80s or whatever. How do I know if this is real anymore?
Well, I mean, by your statement of the Associated Press, they published something and turned out not to be real.
Yeah.
So where's the journalistic integrity nowadays?
It's well been gone.
As someone who shit posts on the internet and writes stupid things, where's the journalistic integrity?
Yeah, for real, guys. I mean, we're trying to be honest with each other and our fellow Americans, and we just can't even get some integrity. Do you hear that RFK hit a bear with his car in upstate New York and then had to catch a flight, and so he just dumped it in Central Park 10 years ago?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Well, they go to how is that just acceptable? And he's just going to talk about it now? It's just the universe bends towards the funniest outcome. It seems to.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, and then RFK, he was going to be Colorado's libertarian candidate, even though that they had elected someone else or nominated someone else, and then he was removed from that. But then that would have made him have to be the libertarian candidate in I know Nevada, because if you're nominated for a different party, you can't run as an independent there. You have to run as that party and from another state. So I think he's just running as an independent. I don't know. I have no idea what his party is. I also don't like his voice.
You do not like him out his voice.
I feel why is he like that?
I want to lead America. I have ideas to lead America. I don't know. It's terrible to listen to, though. I agree. I mean, I love Tim Dillon, and he had him on his pod, and it was so hard to listen to.
Yeah, but I think from the snippets that I have,
it's damaged. It's permanently damaged because of treatment that he received for a prior condition. Is my understanding of why the voice is like that.
The bear attack.
I mean, the bear was him attacking. He attacked the bear with his car. And then he wanted to skin it and use it, but he didn't have time because he had to catch a flight.
Yeah.
Very important guy, this RFK.
But I think I'm leaning toward him.
Yeah.
I typically, besides 2020, besides 2020, I've voted third party every election. Gary Johnson, Ron Paul, I think I voted for him. I wrote him in.
Oh, so you agree with me that gay couples, and my prior guest that I released this week, gay couples should be able to get married and defend their marijuana plants with guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my political stance. That's like my whole hegemony of what my political, like, you should be able to gay marry that can of Peroni and defend it with a gun.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
whatever.
I think it's mostly just because I don't care. I used to care and now I don't care. Also, it's from a privileged point of view of I'm a white male. For the most part, I'm not really that affected by who's elected. Like, which is, it's tough to say, right? But like females, obviously, with the Republican candidate, historically, you have less access, or like, so that's a concern.
Reproductive rights seems to be a very big voting issue for young women in America.
Of course, reasonably so. But yeah, I typically, I think I vote for third party just because it seems to align more with what I generally believe in. I'm not going to be every single issue down the line.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this seems for the most part, sure. And I like the idea of having more options. So I keep voting for that, really, from like a long-term view.
I wish we had the system that England or any other country on earth has where they get anything but a single member district plurality, where it's like one person gets all the representation, one party.
Mm-hmm. You mean, so England, so like, you want a queen?
No, well,
or king?
They're like a parliament government. Basically, when they have their system of government allows for smaller parties to get some representation in whatever legislative, branch of government they have. So the Green Party, they might not have a single person that makes it into the Senate. But if we did it instead of red, blue, Republican, Democrat, if we had lots of parties and that we had ranked choice voting, then some of their representatives would be Green Party candidates.
It's true.
So I think that's kind of like a folly of our system. But there's probably some good things that come from that too, in that we can get some things done that other systems might not be able to, because they have so many micro niche interest groups that, yeah, you better pile a thing in this bill for the Green Party or they're not going to vote yes, and we need their 5 votes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a politics game. Either way you spin it, it's sad to see it affecting people's lives. That's the part that makes me upset. That's where I get riled up, is like most of politics, regardless of color, regardless of gender, most of politics doesn't affect your life. Most of it.
True.
Most of it, I think. True. There's some of it that affects your life in extremely major ways. And I am of the belief that typically those aren't places the government even has they don't even have the card to be playing the handbook there. Like, they don't have a place there.
Mm-hmm.
But they get to make a decision that impacts your and I's lives or someone else's lives in a major way. Oh, I thought the government was like an extension of us. Like, the government's supposed to help us, Americans, advance. And we've just completely, in my short time on life, flipped our perspective of the government. Regardless of political affiliation, people don't see the government as a friend. Even like liberals who think the government has the answers, they don't see the government as a friend. That's a problem, I think. Like, if we don't think that our leaders are our leaders, that they're like some other class of thing, man, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, the real, I think, crux of the issue is the extremes on both sides.
Yes.
Right? Because average person is not like that, but both parties cater to the extremes, which is not the majority. But if people were more moderate, then more things would get done, and there would be less, I think, political or identity with political parties, and more so like, oh, well, this person's more, this is on this side, this is on this side, and I was over here last time, but this person makes more sense. But instead, it's all out here, and there's graphs that show you that of like each year where Congress gets more and more spread apart instead of more common on certain things. And it's I forget the website of it, but it was like a 100-year like time lapse of it. It was super interesting. And
it's on these linchpin issues that actually sway votes.
Yeah.
It's never on like, are we going to have a military? Because both parties are going to fund the biggest military on earth, period.
Yeah.
Like, they will. It's part of how they get elected.
It's what we do.
It's what we do best, baby. So that's going to happen. But, what really gets that person to vote for that party is that, wedge issue of abortion, or that wedge issue of marijuana legalization, or that wedge issue of taxes. You know?
I mean, I had someone, and the false narratives around each party.
Oh, yes.
That is spread, like couch fucking or horse semen.
Consumption.
Yeah. Or.
That's just recreational horse semen consumption. I don't see a problem with that.
I had someone tell me that in California, Democrats are fine with, what was it? Abortions up till 3 weeks after birth. And I was like, that's not right. And they're like, that's right. And I was like, that's not right. That's called murder. And they're like, well, that's what it is. And I was like, let's change topics.
Yeah.
Because if I can't convince you that that's fake, where they're murdering and throwing babies in dumpsters 3 weeks.
Birth, yeah.
I haven't looked it up.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to.
Sure. I would hope that you, how about this? I don't think you need to for your own mental health alone.
I don't want to get dumber. I already have my brain rattling around up here. It's but I'm like, this is why are you telling this to me? This is crazy. So that's, and me being a moderator, I'm like, what if we just didn't even believe that was real? What if we did that?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. And then you sit down with someone, and thank God, I'm very thankful for the route I had, in that I went to public school in Boulder, Colorado, but I had a relatively conservative home life. So this means that I went home with the ideas that my teachers told me, and I got to critically challenge those ideas at the dinner table, and vice versa. And I'd bring my critical ideas into the classroom and challenge ideas and have those discourses. So I've always really liked hearing other people's perspectives when they differ from me. Like, I like the person that says that California is aborting babies 3 weeks after, because I just want to genuinely try to understand that person's perspective, because it's crazy, but let me try to understand it. And I think this has served me well, because through college, I was able to speak, it's called code switching, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I can speak leftist really well. Like, I can speak like really well leftist if I need to. If I'm in a room with 15 students in honors women's studies class, and I'm the only straight passing man, whatever, white man, I know how to speak leftist. But I also know how to speak to people that have lived on a farm their whole life remotely, that think that the government doesn't do shit for them because it hasn't ever. I think being able to talk to both of these sides is important, because both of them represent what America is. And I don't think our politicians give a shit about talking to both sides. No. And that's where I see long-term negative impacts. Like you said, getting more extreme. The pendulum. We keep swinging back and back with these bigger sweeps every time, dude. We just need someone that's willing to talk to both sides and try to genuinely understand why they think that way.
Well, and there have been candidates like that, but they don't get elected.
Right.
Because they don't play to the extreme.
Good point.
So,
or the party line values on X issue that has to be, this must be your stance on this because that's what it is.
There have been former Ohio Governor John Kasich, in 2016, he was running for president and he dropped out. But instead of going with the status quo of endorsing Trump, he actually endorsed Hillary, because he said country over party. And it was like a rare example of that occurring. And I thought it was cool to see.
Yeah.
And man, what an interesting election night that was.
I was a freshman in college at a small liberal arts school in Iowa. And, we get lots of people in from St. Louis, Chicago, all over the country, because it's a small liberal arts school. That's how they get people there. And I'm sitting in the freshman dorm in the common area watching the election results pour in on this couch. And there's these two girls next to me. distraught, like, oh my God, I can't believe Trump's winning these states. What's happening in this country? And I'm a young, dumb piece of shit guy. So what do? I pick up the phone and I call my uncle. Hey, man, can you believe we called this like this long ago? It was going to go like this. We knew this. The country wasn't going to. And they just storm off. And it's just like, oh, I was in that moment a great representation of everything that's wrong about the political climate and why we've continued to progress in this wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I should have been like, well, what do you guys, instead of being a dickhead, what I should have done, turned to my right and said, well, why? Well, why do you feel that way? And they would probably say, well, he's going to take away our freedoms. And I would ask, well, what freedoms do you think he's going to take away? And try to understand their perspective, not to present a better perspective or counter debate them, but just to understand their perspective.
You could, or you could just ignore them.
See, I can't do that. That's the part. That's where my life would be a lot easier if I could shut my face hole and shut my brain hole.
But that's why you have a podcast, because you can't.
I guess.
Oh, man.
That's why I'm a comic at heart, is because I can't, for real.
That's funny. Yeah, I remember in 2020, I was surrounded by my girlfriend at the time and all of her gal pals, and this was on the day that Biden won, and I remember a girl saying, "My car got stolen today, but it doesn't matter because Joe Biden is not Donald Trump, is going to be the president of the United States." And
that's girl math.
And that is girl math. And I was like, what are you saying? It was just so wild to hear. I want to check in with whoever that is now. Like, how do you feel now? Because Joe Biden has dropped out. And at least as of 3 weeks ago, I was like, Trump's winning this again, I feel like. So, well,
I mean, no one gets shot in the face and their poll numbers go down unless, I guess, they swap out the other candidate.
Yeah.
Apparently now that works.
Yeah. So who knows?
Who knows? It's going to be interesting to watch. I'm here for the comedy and the memes, because that's all that my generation gets to hope for. We're not getting our Social Security, so we're going to get our laughs, damn it.
We're going to get our memes.
Getting our laughs, damn it. All right, well, I'm going to try to get you on out of here. Have you heard of this silly little nation that we used to be a part of called England, good sir?
I have.
They have this practice called knighting. You've heard of this?
I have.
Well, here at Top Shelf Studios, after a long-form conversation, I am hiding my guess, because all my life, people have been like, hey, can I get a couple inches? And shit like that, because of my tall physical form.
You are tall.
But the truth of the matter is that these meat sacks that we are in, be it tall, short, fat, skinny, they are merely vessels. They are merely meat sacks. And they are not representations or accurate representations of our heart height, how we carry ourselves towards other people, the way we approach the world. So after a long-form conversation here at Top Shelf Studios, Universidad, I'll be giving my guest, Nick Ellis, his heart height. How tall do you stand physically, Nick?
6'3".
All right. Nick Ellis, I heart height thee 6'10". That's a big heart. He's going to have a lot to bear in life.
Wow.
Your heart chiropractor is going to tell you you're going to have a lot of heart problems until you die a young heart death. But
this sounds concerning.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm happy with what you just did to me.
I mean, you're plus 7 inches heart variability rating. That's pretty good. You got a big soul, man.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate you, and I wish you genuinely nothing but the best. You have such a good perspective, and you seem to have so much patience in a field where everybody wants it to happen right now. Thanks for sharing that with me today.
Of course. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. You're a delightful person to be around. I have enjoyed our conversation, and I'm looking forward to the next time we get to see each other.
All right. Where can people find you? Because I know
you want my home address?
Well, I want people to find you doing comedy. Ideally on the stage is where I'd like people to find you.
You can see me on the road on my moped soon. But you can find me on Instagram at Ellis ND ELLISND, and check out my newsletter, The Street Satire, on Substack. It's just a little fun, little silly thing where, speaking of fake news, I just write satire business news, and I try to make it of a comic book feeling or a comic feeling on the weekend, where like, you know, a weekend morning you would wake up, you're like, I'm gonna check out the comics in the newspaper, I'm gonna watch cartoons. Well, I have like animated pictures for mine, and I just try to make you laugh. And so check out my newsletter, Street Satire.
I love it. Check him out all over town. He's hilarious. You don't want to miss him.
Thanks. Bye.
Fuck off and be well.